Hello there and welcome to another video, and today I thought we'd look at a few more items, 2, maybe 3, we'll see. And the first item is a model sailing ship. And what a beauty it is. I don't know what it is about sailing ships, but something about their shape, both the body and the layout of the sails, the angles at which they rise, the overall shape they create. And I think I've always felt this way about these ships ever since I first saw one as a little child. And just looking at it gives me a really good feeling. This is an old one, by the way. You might see it's actually covered in dust, which is maybe not very polite of me to have kept it for this presentation, but it was a bit of it was a bit of a spontaneous decision, really. Anyhow, this one has 1, 2, 3 masts. Unfortunately, I don't know much about shipbuilding, or I'm not very good with maritime vocabulary. I've never actually sailed on a proper sailboat. Let me try and unstack this. There you go. A little better. Looks like it's been damaged slightly, probably during my last move. Oh no, that's not good. Well, we'll just have to glue it back in place. Anyhow, as I was saying, I've never actually been, well, I have been on sailboats before, but I've never really sailed on one, despite my lifelong fascination with the sailboat as an object. And also, I have to tell you, I'm very particular about the shape. Not every sailboat is beautiful to me. It's difficult to say exactly what the parameters are, but when I see a beautiful sailboat, I know it, and when I see an ugly one, I also know it. So one bit of trivia I know, and this is because I read The Wager, the book about the English expedition and the ship of that name. And in that book, the author very eloquently talks about the origin of quite a lot of English phrases, like under the weather, for example. So, being kind of sick. So, this, like many other English expression, comes from the world of sailing, and basically, what happened is when a sailor was sick, they would not leave him usually, on the top deck or one of the upper decks, because there was too much wind going in and out. It was kind of cold in there, so people were exposed to the elements. Even rain could get in there sometimes, and that was believed rightfully or correctly not to be the best of conditions for a sick sailor. So instead, what they would do, they would put him in one of the lower decks, which were literally quite under the weather, because the weather would not reach the lower decks, and hence, if you were under the weather, you were sick, obviously, and hence the expression today. Another popular one is learning the ropes. So, a beginner sailor, the first thing they would have to know after learning how to swipe the decks would probably which ropes did what and where they connected. And they had to also know their names, I imagine. No, I don't. But I know that there are quite a few ropes on any ship. So learning the ropes meant obviously, learning the basics. The do's, the don'ts, the way something worked. And as you can see, this model actually is missing one of the legs here. It went missing many years ago, and I've never found it. I have moved a lot over the years, so the leg might have gone missing during one of the moves. This ship is a bit beat up, really. I think I need to rehabilitate it a bit, so to speak. That might be a good idea for a future video. Ship rehabilitated before and after. So actually, I prefer it this way. Now, you wouldn't be able to tell from this perspective, but the way it's tilted, it actually makes it seem a bit like it's, sitting on water, actually. Like it's being tilted by the movement of waves. Like it's moving on water, which I quite like. And yeah, it's a ship with no name. I think that's okay. Alright then. I think that's enough about the ship. Let's leave it on the side here, and let's move to our second item today. And I have to be very careful because it can make quite a loud noise if you're not careful. Now again, I'm ashamed to say, it's just a bit dusty. Clearly I should dust my environment regularly. What might this be? You're wondering? Well, these are what are called Tingshao bells. I believe so. Actually, I think that's what they're called. Tingshao. And I got them gifted. And they come from Nepal. And bells such as these are, as I understand, used in different forms of Buddhist liturgy, in monasteries. I personally have used them to signal the start of meditation. I meditate quite a bit, and I find it's nice to have a way of marking the beginning of a meditation. It's good to have a bit of a ritual. It puts the mind in the right space, and it creates a pleasant atmosphere, making it easier to meditate and to come back to meditation. And sustain on these bells is quite impressive. Now, unfortunately I can't really show you because they are quite loud. I don't think... Oh, you know what? What the hell? Let's give it a try, and I will just kind of mute them a little bit with my fingers here. Now I hope this wasn't too loud. This sounds like someone sharpening a knife. But you have to realize I'm really touching them very lightly. If I were to touch them with any real strength, this would no longer be an ASMR video. You can believe me when I say that. But they do make quite a pleasant cupping sound. Yes, and they're a bit of a keepsake. You been gifted to me by someone very close, and so often when I do meditate, they tend to remind me of that person, and it fills me with gratitude, which is nice. That someone somewhere out there lives who has enabled a very important bit of my life to become a little bit better. Bell scratching. You probably did not expect to witness something like this today, did you? Well, anyway, I think we're almost done here, and we'll stop with the bells. So this was another video a sailboat and a pair of tingsha bells. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a very peaceful rest of the day, and if you ever need to calm down or relax, do drop by. Hopefully I'll have prepared a new video for you. Until then, take care. Bye.